when we wrote to you, this development was not there. And you are correct. You responded to us on the basis of the facts we put before you. Immediately after we have received your response, there was this development. Now, we are going to suggest that let's take 5 minutes, go and apply your mind, and come back with a new ruling. People are going to die and you are going to have blood in your hands. Because when they vote against what the Minister of Minerals threatened about, they are going to be killed. And their blood is going to be in your hands.
No, Speaker, we want to place on record that we do not agree with the approach that you have taken in terms of this vote. And we are going to subject this process to a judicial review, which will include holding you personally liable for having taken purposefully a wrong decision, which is destructive, is going to undermine the democratic rights of members of parliament. Because there is a huge difference. The outcomes, if it was secret ballot, was going to be different as opposed to what you are going to be doing now. And we have demonstrated several times, humanly possible, everything we have done to illustrate to you that what you are doing is dangerous, it's not sustainable, and it's impinging on the constitutional rights of members to exercise their right of holding the executive accountable without fear or favor. So we're going to take you to court.
Thank you.
And you're not going to win this. We'll remind you when you come back that we have defeated you for taking irrational decisions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, I think we were proceeding on a very wrong footing. I think to call for those who have not voted because they were missed for whatever reason, it's correct. But to ask for a person to correct the vote is extremely wrong, because it's not electronic voting. You are giving a wrong example. Because another example I can give is that once I voted and I put a ballot paper in a ballot box, I can't come back and say I want to correct that which I've done. But so I think that what Mahambe Lala did should be stopped because it's not acceptable.
Honorable Member, Mahambe Hlala, please.
Oh, Mahambe Hlala, yes.
Please withdraw that one, please.
No, I was not inside. I made a mistake.
No, Honorable Member, I take serious exception.
No, it's like you saying to me Malema. I'm not Malema, I'm Malema.
No. As a woman, I take serious exception to that kind of mistake.
Okay, I withdraw.
Yes, thank you.
Now, it is wrong to say a person can correct a vote. It's actually intimidating to say once you have voted and then you say to us, are you sure you don't want to correct your vote? You are in a way intimidating members of parliament, and that is unacceptable.
Okay.
So please, that thing of people correcting their vote must fall off, and then you call those who were missed by mistake to vote if they wish to do so, and we close the process. There's no option of correcting a vote.
Thank you very much, honorable members.
Allow a secret ballot. And that on its own, it's a reason enough for you to reconsider a decision on the secret ballot. The third issue, Speaker, is that there are members of parliament from the ruling party who spoke openly that they are going to vote against the dictatorship of the Minister of Minerals. What does it mean? It means that this vote has got a potential of going either direction. And because of that, we ought to protect those people, because through that intimidation, they may not be able to fulfill their constitutional mandate. So the circumstances that are prevailing now, Speaker, dictate that you provide the secret ballot. We are confident there are 60 members in the ruling party who have confirmed that they will vote for this. And those members will be intimidated if this vote is not secret.
Thank you.
Mokhale T.
I vote yes.
Mohlala MR.
I vote yes.
Mogoto SM,
Yes.
Motwendi MK,
I vote yes.
Motsipe CCS,
I vote yes.
Msane TP. Msane? Mtenjane DF. Mtenjane DF.
I vote yes.
Noluchungu NJ. Absent. Pambo V.
Yes.
Paulson MN.
Yes.
Shembeni HA.
I vote yes.
Siwisa AM. Absent.
I vote yes.
Sondi NP. Tafeni N.
Enkosi ndiyavuma.
Tambo S.
Yes.
Tembekwayo SS.
I vote yes.
Tito LF.
I vote yes.
Chwaku M.
Yes.
Yako YN.
I vote yes.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. I'm raising on a point of order to say that despite our repeated requests as different political parties, that today's voting on the Section 89 panel report that it must be conducted through a secret ballot. You opportunistically yesterday responded to us, never gave us a chance to could even subject that to review, because it is objectively and conclusively reactionary and suppressive of the democratic process and rights of members of parliament to want to say that they must vote on an open ballot on a very sensitive issue when they've got threats from their own political parties. The Constitution, the Constitutional Court, has said that we have got an obligation as members of parliament not to represent our parties, but to represent the people of South Africa without fear, without any form of intimidation. And now we are here in a situation which decisively should hold a president accountable. And you have denied us of utilizing a secret ballot, which in this basis is the only rational way to conduct this particular process. There is no any other way to hold a president accountable, because these members of parliament,
Honorable member,
majority of them are
thank
willing
you.
to then exercise their
I've
democratic right,
understood the
but you have
issue
denied
you are
us that
raising.
particular
Thank you.
opportunity.
Take your
It's
seat.
irrational what you
Order.
have done.
Take your seat. Thank you.
Have engaged in questionable activities such as alleged laundering of money, the abduction of suspects of crime, the misuse of state resources, because the Ruperts and the Oppenheimers made you feel like you are untouchable. Today, we are touching you because you are not in the pockets of your faction or your handlers. We are touching you because we knew that white monopoly capital will use you and toss you aside. Mr. President, you should be ashamed that you have become the enemy of what so long defined your legacy. Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, we declare without fear of contradiction that you are an enemy of the Constitution of South Africa. From today, you will be treated like a real constitutional delinquent. No amount of numbers can intimidate us into silence. We have done this before, we will do it again. What if the president of South Africa is a spy? What if the spy is paid in foreign currencies? Why are the members of the ruling party not concerned to want to find the truth if their president is not in the pockets of foreign agents? What have you become so much that you are scared to hold one individual accountable in defense of our Constitution? As we sit here today, you have an opportunity to choose an individual over the Constitution of South Africa, to choose thuggerism over accountability. But all of you must know that history will judge you harshly. It is this man who held the hand of Nelson Mandela and said the Constitution of South Africa is above all of us. Today is the same man who's peeing on the
Malima JS,
Yes.
Shibambu NF,
The vote is yes.
Mente NV,
I vote yes.
Dlamini MM,
Yes.
Mautwe OMC.
Yes. The next speaker is the Honorable J.S. Malema.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Mr. President, we must begin by expressing our deepest disappointment in you as an individual who has been celebrated as one of the architects of the Constitution of South Africa. On the 10th of December 1996, you sat head and shoulder with President Nelson Mandela and committed this country and yourself to abiding by the rule of law and to protect and defend the Constitution that President Mandela signed on that day. You vowed in front of the world that you will hold sacrosanct the ideals of accountability and transparency which is enshrined in the Constitution without fail. Today, 26 years after you held Nelson Mandela's hand, lifted our Constitution high into the air, you stand as the greatest enemy of constitutionalism and accountability. As a so-called architect of the Constitution, you have resolved to take Parliament of South Africa to court to avoid constitutional obligation of accountability. As a so-called crafter of our democratic dispensation, you are accused of engaging in activities that characterized a criminal underworld. As a so-called champion of accountability to masses of our people, you today avoid scrutiny and questioning like a fugitive. Mr. President, your reluctance to allow inquiry into the activities of Phala Phala Farm are shocking and concerning. You are so desperate to avoid any type of investigation into the crimes that have occurred at and in relation to a Phala Phala Farm that you have decided to spit in the face of the freedoms and institutions so many fought and died for.
The next speaker is the Honorable J.S. Malema.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Mr. President, we must begin by expressing our deepest disappointment in you as an individual who has been celebrated as one of the architects of the Constitution of South Africa. On the 10th of December 1996, you sat head and shoulder with President Nelson Mandela and committed this country and yourself to abiding by the rule of law and to protect and defend the Constitution that President Mandela signed on that day. You vowed in front of the world that you will hold sacrosanct the ideals of accountability and transparency which is enshrined in the Constitution without fail. Today, 26 years after you held Nelson Mandela's hand, lifted our Constitution high into the air, you stand as the greatest enemy of constitutionalism and accountability. As a so-called architect of the Constitution, you have resolved to take Parliament of South Africa to court to avoid constitutional obligation of accountability. As a so-called crafter of our democratic dispensation, you are accused of engaging in activities that characterized a criminal underworld. As a so-called champion of accountability to masses of our people, you today avoid scrutiny and questioning like a fugitive. Mr. President, your reluctance to allow inquiry into the activities of Phala Phala Farm are shocking and concerning. You are so desperate to avoid any type of investigation into the crimes that have occurred at and in relation to a Phala Phala Farm that you have decided to spit in the face of the freedoms and institutions so many fought and died for.
We want to stand to reject that decision, and then we want to express that through a vote. That can we be allowed to vote on whether we can use secret ballot or not. So we are proposing, family, that before we proceed with this process, we should be allowed to vote on your
It's a
decision
point
now,
of order,
because
Honorable Shivambu.
it's an issue that we
There
have to
is a
then deal
point
with
of
it in
order.
the particular fashion. Please.
There's a
Ndlozi MQ,
Yes.
Mashabela NR,
Yes.
Mkalipi HO, Ntlangwini EN.
Yes.
Aris LH.
Extemia.
Ceza K.
I vote yes.
Chabangu MM.
Yes, sir.
Chirwa NN.
I vote yes.
Hlonyana KNF.
I vote yes.
Kaula MS.
Siyavuma.
Komane RN.
I vote yes.
Langa TM.
Yebo.
Madlingozi BS.
Yes.
Madokwe P.
Yes, definitely.
Mafanya WTI.
Yes.
Mare P.
I vote yes.
Matulelwa B.
I vote yes.
Matthias NS.
I vote yes.
Matumba A.
Ndiyatenda.
Mkondo CN.
Yebo.
Stand the threat by this minister who swallowed the cameras of Busasa, who's threatening his own members. On top of the swallow of Busasa cameras, there is another threat where members of parliament have received death threats from the underworld which these people are working with, that if we vote in the opposite, we are going to be killed. That development, when you wrote the letter rejecting a secret ballot, was not there. And it is on the basis of that we are rising here now. But you may want to reconsider your decision because there are these developments which were not there when you wrote your letter, Speaker. Thank you.